When you see, all these folks that are on medication today, I mean, how many of these people do you think legitimately should be on medication? I mean, is it something you can assess?
I can't answer that in terms. I mean, I'm sure there's research of people, how many people are on medication, but in my personal experience, most of the people that I see on medications, in my opinion, don't need most of the medications they're on. Now, and that's just anecdotal. That's my opinion. You asked me to hand you a research survey or study to support that. I can't hand it to you, or I can't point you to one. I can just tell you, after 45 years in this experience, I see people that are on medication. They've usually seen someone for 6 or 8 minutes and said, I'm really feeling kind of down or blue.
Yep.
Here's some Prozac, here's this, here's that. They give it to them, and they don't even really ask, well, why? And they just give it to them because medicine has become a high-volume business. And that's not necessarily the doctor's fault. I mean, the way that it's now funded and Medicare and Medicaid, you got to turn them and burn them. And, or you can't stay in business. And so it's a high-volume business. And so they throw pills at them because they don't have an hour to sit down or don't take an hour to sit down and talk about it and say, well, let's find out what's going on. Is there a reason? Like I said, if this guy's got 5 parts of his life that have gone down, or a woman has got 3 or 4 areas of her life that have really gone down in quality, then they should be having poor mood. So why mask that? Let's come up with an action plan and change it. So most of the people I see on medication, not all, but most of the people I see are on too many medications in too high a dose, or either don't need it at all. And I am really bothered by polypharmacy. That's where I really get frustrated.
Yeah, this is, I think what you're saying is a very common sense approach, but it's not the norm today.
No.
It seems like more people are treating this, air quotes, depression issue as if it's a medical disorder like diabetes or something where you need medication.
Yeah, and look, for a lot of people it works. I mean, you give people a mood elevator and they say, hey, I feel better.
And then maybe they change their life.
Yeah.
Maybe they move their life into a more positive direction. They can wean themselves off of it.
Because one of the things about depression, for example, you're using that as an example, is you get what's referred to as psychomotor retardation. There's a lessening in activity level. And I think old sayings get to be old sayings because they're profound. Like, you're not going to get a hit if you're not swinging. Mm-hmm. Well, if you're depressed and so you think slower, less actively, you behave less actively, your chance of getting rewarded goes down, right? You don't get out there and you don't mix it up socially as much. You don't apply for jobs as much. You're not as productive on your job as much. So you're less likely to get strokes. You're less likely to get rewarded. Well, maybe you go take a pill and it lifts your mood up, so you get more active, and so now you start getting pats on the back. You start getting people to engage with you more. So that lifts your mood and that takes care of it. So you took the medication short term, you're lifted back up and you're okay. Short term, it can be an alternative. But I've seen people on everything from opioids to mood elevators for years. And that's where you lose me. I just don't get it.
Yeah.